Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Kitchens with Justin. Tonight, we are going to be making a Hoosier favorite. It is beef and noodles. In this beef and noodles recipe, you do not need to have any knife skills whatsoever. We will not be touching a knife or a pair of scissors. So, for your ingredients list, and I want you guys to get ready, you're going to need, I use carne picada. I think that's how you say it. Carne picada. And it's a Mexican style stew meat that
Oh, I can't.
that is used in street tacos. We're going to use minced garlic. Walmart, in the freezer section, has chopped onions in a bag. And these are a lifesaver. If you're ever in a jam and you just want to throw some onions and some spaghetti, beef and noodles, and anything, these things come in handy more often than not. You're going to need a quart of beef stock. You're going to need dried thyme leaves, black pepper, garlic powder, and salt. I use coarse sea salt. You're also going to need half a cup of cornstarch and cold water, but we will come to that. We'll cover that when we get there. That is our thickening agent. So, let's get ready to cook. Alright, so you're going to get your pan on the stove, turn it to medium. If you have an electric stove, turn it to medium, and don't go higher than medium. A lot of people think if they crank it to high, it'll get hotter faster, which that happens. But then they forget to turn it back down, and then they add their food, and they burn it. Don't do it. It takes 2 minutes longer to get your pan to temp just by turning it on medium. You're going to get a pot of water, well-salted water. You can turn that up to high because you need to get that boiling. I forgot to tell you on our list of ingredients, I use Reame's home-style egg noodles. These are in the freezer section at Walmart. So, grab these because these are the best for this project we're doing here, our recipe. So, we're going to get our meat. As always, Alex, right next to me. Got to teach my boy to cook because I want him to be able to eat well when he moves out of my house. Can't trust anybody to feed you other than yourself. That's right.
Food poisoning. Oh, and there's a hack. If your drink or food smells like cinnamon, it's poison. If it doesn't, it's good.
Yep. Now, this is on the bottom of the pan, or on the bottom of the package. Do not cook that with your meat. It's paper, it soaks up the blood, it's nasty, it's gross. Don't cook it. Throw it away. So, we're going to get our meat in the pan. Start separating it with your favorite spatula. If you're over 30, you have a favorite spatula. Get it separated. And then you're going to brown your meat up. Turning it. There we go. Now, as you can see, our water is boiling really, really well. So we're going to take our bag and we are going to dump the whole bag in there. Slowly dump it in there. Just don't plop it in there. These don't take very long to cook. Just want to get them. A little bit left in there. You want to get them nice and tender. Then we're going to drain those and set those aside. Okay, our meat is nice and browned. It's been drained. Do not drain your meat in a sink because meat has, at least beef and pork, has a lot of fat in it that goes down into the drain, and once it cools up, it solidifies and it causes your drain to get slow. So, I usually, if I'm being honest, will take my colander that I'm draining my meat in to the toilet. I'll hold it above the toilet and I'll dump my meat in the colander so all of it drains into the toilet, and I just flush it down and away it goes. Alright, so now that our meat is nice and brown, it's drained, it's sizzling hot, I'm going to take and I make a little bald spot right there. That's where all the heat is coming from. That's where the center of the burner is, right there. I want that hot part of the skillet exposed.
Yeah, look at me.
Son, I'm doing something.
See? That's my wedding snowball. You can't have it.
So then we're going to take our minced garlic, one good heaping spoonful, right in the middle there. Yeah, that's what it's all about right there. Then we're going to take our frozen chopped onions. We're going to put, I would say, if you were going to do it, I would cut my hand and dump them in there and then do it. That should give you the right amount of onions for it. And then you're going to mix it all up in there. Now, by the time your meat is browned up and drained, that's what it's going to look like. By the time your meat is browned up and drained, your noodles should be cooked. You see my noodles right there? So you're going to take your spatula, you're going to isolate one noodle out. I put it on my stove. My stove is clean. I trust my stove. I'm going to let it cool. I'm going to test out my noodles. So then, I'll take my salt. I'm just going to do a light dusting over the whole thing. I'm going to take my black pepper. If I can get it open. Sometimes these things are hard to get open. I'm going to take my black pepper. I'm going to do a light dusting. It's alright, I got the boys playing with the dog back in the background. I'm going to take my garlic powder. Not garlic salt, garlic powder. I'm going to do a light dusting. All I'm doing is seasoning my meat. Not trying to change the flavor profile. Just trying to bring out the flavors that are already in the meat. Alright. Those noodles are done. Oops. So you want to mix all your seasonings in. I like to fold my meat over. Anything in the pan, I'll drag it over and then fold it back over. Drag it over, fold it back over. Get it all nice and mixed in there. Then I turn the heat off for my noodles. I'm going to drain my noodles, and I'll be right back. Alright, our noodles are drained, and I put them back in the pan. I'm going to use this pan as my serving pan. So I'm going to not put it back on the burner I was just using. I'm going to put it on a cold burner. My meat still working. My garlic, my onions are sauteing in the meat. I'm going to take my thyme, my dried thyme leaves. I'm going to go a little heavier with the thyme because I like a stouter, herby flavor in my beef and noodles. So I'm going to give it not a dusting, but a nice blanket. I'm not trying to change the flavor of the meal, of the meat. I'm trying to just enhance what's already there. All right. So then I'm going to take my beef stock. I'm going to add the whole quart of beef stock to this. People are going to say, oh, Justin, that's a little liquid, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I am feeding 5 people, and a lot of times they want seconds. So I am trying to make it go as far as possible. So the whole quart of beef stock into the pan with the meat. Your carne picada. So we went to church today, and Alex had a little Christmas type of thing, and he actually got to participate in the service, and that is, I like that. I like him being involved in church. Now, I told you you had to have some cornstarch on hand. There's half a cup of cornstarch. Now, you're going to put it in a bowl, and you're just going to get it to where it is mixed up with the water. Cornstarch is weird because it never really is wet and it's never really dry. So you just want to mix it up to where it's loose. You want loose cornstarch slurry. Should be about a half a cup of water. Maybe a pinch more than a half a cup of water. That's what it's going to look like. You'll know it's done because the cornstarch won't be sticking on the spoon or on the bottom of the bowl. It'll start moving around in there, free flowing. Can't show you. You can see what it looks like. It'll look like milk, and it'll move. It'll move in the bowl like milk. Okay, I'm going to set that right there. As you noticed, I've never raised the temperature of my burner past medium. I'm not trying to burn my food. Don't jack with the heat on the stove. You will burn your food. I don't know about you guys, but burnt food tastes bad. Alright, so I'm going to let this heat up. And we'll get to the thickening, and then we'll get to the adding, and then we'll plate it up and serve some hungry mouths. Alright, we're about to finish up our meal here. I'm going to stir it one more time. We're going to add our cornstarch slurry. I'll pour it right in the middle. Make sure all the cornstarch gets in there. Now it's gonna look like you added some milk to your meat, which is that's what you want it to look like, and it's gonna be able to that color you're gonna be able to trace if your cornstarch is mixed completely into your food here. I don't like using cornstarch a lot, just because I don't know. A lot of times it's a cheater's way out. People who don't know how to make a roux use cornstarch. But for this is simple, easy, quick way to make beef and noodles. And I tell you, every time I take this recipe to a friend's house for a holiday dinner, I bring home an empty pan. We brought it over Thanksgiving. We had a Thanksgiving dinner at my buddy Josh's house, and I'm telling you, the next day he texted me and asked me for this recipe so that he could make it at home. So it's definitely a hit, and it's a Hoosier staple. So the thing about cornstarch is the hotter it gets, the longer it cooks, the thicker it becomes. So you want to keep kind of stirring it and working it, because you don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan and scorch. But it's also going to start thickening up. You're going to watch it. You're going to see where you want it to be.
There you go.
Just keep working it. So I got this cornstarch spoon right here. Before it gets too thick, I'm gonna get it.
Quit, Joseph. Elijah.
I need some salt. I might hit it with another little shot of thyme. I'm going to turn down my heat. Now I'm turning down my heat. Medium low. I'll fold it all in. I really enjoy cooking. It's kind of my zen moment. It's because I have total control over everything I'm doing here. Win or lose, that is because of me. And that's what I really like.
Hello.
There's a little turtle. Turtle boy! There you go. Alright, we're going to taste it one more time. See where we're at flavor-wise. Hot, hot. Good. Really good.
No, you got your one.
So, I'm going to fold it one more time. Bring my noodles over. Turn my heat off. Alright. I'm going to take my beef and I'm going to add it to my noodles.
Why does it look like beans?
It's just the cut of the beef, buddy.
My hair's ready.
Now, if you're on a really, really tight budget, you can use ground beef for this recipe. It's going to taste the same. It's going to be probably about $15 cheaper. So if you use ground beef in this meal, the whole thing would probably cost you about $7 or $8 to feed 6-7 people. I used a better cut of meat, so this whole meal costs about $17. That's good. 7 people, $17. You can't go out to eat for that. So, alright, we're going to plate it up. And here we go. Final product. We got 5 bowls there. We got plenty of leftovers. Homemade buttermilk biscuits on the side. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, thank you for sticking with me this whole time. I hope your meal is fantastic. This is a Hoosier favorite. I get requested this meal at least once a week. The kids love it. They're going to eat every single bite of it. It's cheap. Didn't touch a knife. And there you go. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And with that, peace. Ow.